Hey, everybody. How's your day going? Welcome to episode 12 of the Pound for Pound show here on the 18th of January. I am Philip, as always, and joining me is Ben and Russ. Hello, gentlemen. How's your guys' day going?
Oh,
Great.
good. Very good, man.
Good.
Very,
Well,
very
awesome. We got some great fights to recap from last week, and then we can get into the big pay-per-view event. So we got some stuff. So without further ado, let's get into it. This last week, the first card on ABC for the UFC. And if this is how they're going to be, I think all cards should be on ABC because this card was
sure.
freaking tremendous. So a lot of exciting fights, a lot of good finishes. And I don't see, if you're a fight fan, I don't see what you could possibly complain about other than a stray cat. So we'll see how that goes. So, but the main event, I'll turn it over to you guys to talk about that. Max Holloway, if anybody doubted that he was still a title contender, I doubt they feel that way today. He set some records on poor Calvin Kattar's face. So I'll turn over to you guys. Russ, you can comment first, then pass over to Ben. How'd you guys feel about the fight and give me some thoughts?
I thought it was one of, if not the best performance in UFC history. I was trying to think of other performances that just blew my mind, like how one-sided and just great he looked. And there's a couple, Max versus Ortega was one. So he had another one that was completely just amazing performance. Cody Garbrandt against Dominic Cruz looked like he was just in the Matrix, similar to how Max looked. It's just, and Conor against Eddie, just completely one-sided domination where, you thought you were getting a pretty close fight and it turned out not to be close at all. All credit to Kattar for handling that. He 445 strikes, significant strikes landed on him is a record. And to think about that in 4-ounce gloves, I don't understand how that doesn't affect his whole career, how it doesn't change his entire career. I just read today that he got 180-day suspension, but we shouldn't see him the rest of this year. Just wait until 2022 to come back, because that was an absolute beatdown. He threw every strike imaginable, spinning kicks, uppercuts, every combo, elbows, just, it was a beatdown. And they could have stopped it, but Kattar kept throwing back every time, Herb could have potentially. So, I mean, I don't think it should have been stopped, and also, have you ever seen scorecards like that?
No,
50, 43, and 50-42. I've never seen that in all of watching fights.
Amazing.
Yeah. Everything about it just unreal. And, last week we were alluding to really hoping Ortega wins. So Max can get that third shot or get that title shot, but forget all that. He gets the title shot of that winner, no matter what. It's
for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
Title shot. And if that Max shows up, it's over. That Max is not losing. That was unreal.
Yep.
Can't say enough about it.
Yeah, you made a lot of good points, Russ. Max looked maybe the best he's ever looked.
For sure.
That output was just insane. I couldn't believe it. I personally think they could have stopped it in the fourth. I mean, another ref maybe would have stopped that. Kate, I was like, oh man, I hope he's going to be all right after this. I was worried, he was taking just an insane amount of punishment, but yeah, mixing it up super well, insane amount of volume. He just was in a zone, man. It just crazy. Also another good performance was Colby Lawler. We thought that was going to be a close fight, and Colby just destroyed him with a high volume there. But yeah, Max he earned the title shot and more. Yeah, he gets the winner of Ortega and Volk in March. Cannot wait for that match. Whoever the matchup is, I just can't wait for that. Awesome performance.
Yeah, it's, obviously you got to give it up to Max. He looked incredible. Which kudos to him. It's probably tough to get motivated, when you're kind of put in that position. And the talk is that, you're not getting a title shot, without things going the right way. But I think he went about it the right way. And he's like, I'll just go out and take a title shot. I won't be denied. And how could he be after that? So, and obviously you got to give it up to Kattar for just how freaking tough that guy is, man. He took a heck of a beating. And I was really glad to see that, like I agree with Russ. He needs some time off, but he didn't seem like he was like delirious or had like brain damage or anything like that. He's, very alert and you seem to be healthy. So, but yeah, I hope he takes a good long rest and comes back, better than ever. So, because that dude's cool. He'll be cool forever in my book just for that. Like one of those like the Jamie Varner performance when he fought around with a broken leg. Like I'll be a fan of that dude forever. Just because like, when you display that level of toughness, it's just like, how could you not take your hat off to a guy like that? Even if you could take a one-sided beating, like.
Right. Yeah. Like you can't really say like it's going to be like a fight of the year because it wasn't really like closely
like a performance
contested.
Of the year.
Performance of the year, performance of the decade, everything. Like, I mean, give it up for that.
How
like,
awesome was that when he started talking and stuff like, I'm the best boxer in the
oh
world.
my God. I've watched it 100 times since then, like talking crap to DC, like while he's like slipping punches. Like it's unbelievable.
I think he was on some sort of like performance enhancers, not steroids. Like he was on like Coke and Adderall. And also I don't even know.
That's what it seemed like. It seemed like he was like a coked up, like Diaz brother. Like his eyes were like sprung wide open. He just looked different in there. And he started so fast. I was like, this is strange, but I love it. Like
he was on either the red pill or the blue pill. I don't know which one, but
yeah. He was like next level Diaz brother. Unreal.
Yeah, it'll be nice. And then also he said he's staying on Fight Island to see if, if something happens in one of these championship fights, he's ready to sneak right in there.
Yeah,
awesome.
I'd be surprised if they let that happen, but
no,
I don't
Dana
know how
said
his fists aren't just trashed. Like that many strikes in those 4-ounce gloves. I don't understand how
crazy.
He didn't hurt himself. It's amazing.
I don't know that they would let him, but I have no doubt that Max would do. He tried to take that fight. He fought at 145 and then tried to jump up and fight at 170 on short notice before. Like Max. A lot of dudes say they'll fight anyone everywhere, and then there's dudes that actually will. And you give Max the right fight, he'll take it on like 3 hours notice. He'd fight someone in a parking lot if that's what it took. So I don't see how you can not be a fan of that dude.
You have to be.
For sure.
You have to. If you're watching this show right now and you're not a Max fan, GTFO right now.
I heard someone say, if you're not a Max fan, you're just a hater,
Yeah. That's what Kattar said after the fight.
Yeah.
That's amazing. His opponent that he just beat the hell out of said that.
Yeah. Who he probably caused permanent brain damage in some capacity too.
No, let's hope not.
I hope not.
Let's not root for brain damage.
No. I'm not rooting for it. Love Kattar.
So cool. Well, we could literally talk about that fight all day, but for the sake, there's lots of other fights to talk about. So let's move on to the next one. The co-main event, was a cool like legend style fight. We had Condit and Matt Brown. Condit picked up the decision victory, 30-27 across the board. I'm curious to hear how you guys felt about that. So Ben, I'll turn it over to you first, buddy.
Yeah, good fight. Not as good as I would have hoped, but it's still a solid fight. I thought Brown won that. I think it was the first round. I think Brown won one of those rounds for sure. Definitely.
Yeah, he won the first.
I had it 29-28 for Condit personally. But close fight nonetheless. Condit just looked better. Yeah, not much to say. I mean, he just looked better all around, really. Brown landed some good strikes throughout, but Condit landed the more, and he was better on the ground as well. So Condit's got 2 wins in a row. How crazy would it be now to see Condit win the belt? I know that's ridiculous, but like, imagine that story. Imagine that story. That'd be crazy. But yeah, love Condit, love Brown. Good fight. How about, what do you think, Russ?
Yeah, I thought it was a very fun fight. I like when they match up like 2 legends, like I don't know about legends, but 2 like veterans like that are on like the same level. It's so much better than like throwing like Condit in there against like Covington or something just to like get assaulted. Like 2 dudes that are past their prime, but still, have all the heart in the world, and they just went in there and threw down. I was surprised Condit, resorted to wrestling to win those rounds because he almost never does that. But yeah, it was fun. I think the decision was right. Condit seems like he has a little bit left in the tank. Matt Brown, not so much. He might, I don't know if he's going to fight more. If he does, it should be more like old veterans, but Condit looks like he's kind of having a little renaissance in his career, maybe turning it around a little bit. So
it's awesome.
Look forward to seeing what they give him next.
Yeah. I agree with that. I think Russ nailed it on the head. I think, the matchmaking was spot on there. Two dudes that the fans love to see, and don't want to see go out and get murdered. So, I think it was great matchmaking, and the guys lived up to it, and they put on a great fight. And I certainly hope that UFC takes notice and we see more fights like that from guys in that position. The Matt Browns, the Condits, the Donald Cerrone's of the world. Like, those are the fights those guys get. So, that's awesome, because there's definitely a spot on the card for those guys. The fans love them and want to see them. So, but they don't want to see them just get massacred by freaking up and comers.
Yeah.
To make a name off of a legend. So
put them in their own little league. You know what I mean?
Yeah, almost. Yeah. Similar. I mean, same league, but just
treat them with respect,
right.
Put them against similarly matched dudes. Don't put them against young murderers, because you're trying to build like a new name up. Like, show the dudes that have been in there for 10 years for you some respect, and like, let them entertain their fans. It's better that way.
I agree 100%. So, and then a couple of surprises, I know we talked about this last week. We'll talk about a couple of great knockouts. We had Li Jiliang and Ponzinibbio. We were very excited about the return of Ponzinibbio, and it did not go as expected. Lee got the early KO. So how'd you guys, Russ? I'll start with you. How'd you feel about that?
Pretty surprised, but after watching the first minute of it, you almost sensed it was going to go badly for Ponzinibbio. Like, he looked slower, he looked softer. Definitely, I don't know if it's ring rust or if he had like major injuries that just have caused him to be slower now, but he didn't look the same. And Jing Lang looked very much like the same. Like, he looked like he was ready to kill or be killed, like he was going to, go for the knockout, get knocked out, whatever. He's cool. That dude's a tough guy, and it's just a bummer to see Ponzinibbio come back and look so just different.
Yeah, you nailed it on the head for sure. Ponzinibbio, I will also add that he looked a bit softer, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, that's why I said, like, the first minute you were almost like, oh, this might not go well.
Yeah, because when USADA gets guys, USADA didn't necessarily get him. Hey, allegedly. USADA didn't necessarily get him officially, but I mean, look at the guy. He looks a bit different. Also, like, the first fight back, when people come back, like clean or whatever, that it's a bit rough, and then they get going again. That's the way it seems. But yeah, Li Jinglang looked good, looked real good, and very surprising that he knocked Ponzinibbio out. I was pretty shocked, and I was really shocked about the fight prior to that as well. We'll talk about that.
Can we put up one of like the little editorial warnings at the beginning where it says, like the thoughts and opinions of Ben Hammond do not reflect the thoughts and opinions of this network. So Ben's just out there firing out accusations and things.
I want you to like put a little graphic down there. Allegedly. Anytime you say that, we sprinkle a little allegedly down there.
I will do that. Do that.
Yeah. So, but yeah, no, I agree. And, he was out for a long time. And from my understanding, not only did he go through, getting, catching the dreaded virus, but also had some injuries and stuff. So it was just a bummer to see a guy come back after, fighting through all that and have such a bad performance, regardless of the reason. So hopefully it was just a one-off, and hopefully a little more time, training while he's healthy and things like that. Or whatever he's got to do, to get back to where he was. So I'd like to see Ponzinibbio make a comeback, but all credit to Lee. He went out there and did what he had to do, man, and dropped him with a straight right. And that was it. So good for him, and excited to see what's next. So, and then another one, the fight before was also another big surprise. So Chirico and Buckley, everybody's excited to see, Keem Buckley fight again and again. He's been putting on highlight reel knockouts, and there was a highlight reel knockout, but kind of went the other way. So, Ben, how'd you feel about that?
Yeah, that Chirico dude sent Buckley to another dimension. That was also shocking. When he folded, I was watching with Joe, our other brother, and I jumped out of my seat. I was like, "Oh my God, he's dead!" I just love upsets. If I don't really, if I don't care for either fight, if I'm not like, a big fan of either side, I like upsets, and that was a pretty big upset.
Yeah.
Crazy to see. Buckley will be back, but that kills his star power. But he'll be back strong. What do you think, Russ?
Yeah, it definitely derails the hype train. I think I think we knew that fight was going to end in a big KO. We just kind of had like the wrong side.
Right.
I'm getting like Melvin Manhoff vibes from Buckley. Like he delivers like huge highlight KOs or ends up asleep like he did against Holland and now DiChirico. So very, very surprising the way it went, but that'll happen, I guess.
Yeah.
Go against.
You go out there and throw down. That's the risk you run. So, but yeah, I mean, cool fight. It's super fun card overall.
We could have made some massive money if we would have taken Jing Lang and DiChirico. If we would have parlayed them, we'd be
the payout would have been huge.
We'd be doing this friggin' show from a yacht today.
Yeah, Connor's yacht.
Yeah,
absolutely. So, some big news in the fight world, a couple big fight announcements. Ben referenced one of them earlier in the show. Volkanovski going to defend that belt against Brian Ortega in March. So that should be a super fun fight. And then I think we might know who the number one contender that's going to get the next title shot and fight the winner of that one is going to be. And then we just talked about it the other week. The heavyweight division is finally getting going. Lots of big heavyweight fights. And that heavyweight title, the fight everyone's been waiting for, Stipe Francis 2 coming up at the end of March as well. So that should be a big one. Real excited to see the heavyweights get going. I think everyone in the top 5 has a fight booked. So
yeah, top 7 maybe even.
Yeah, so it should be lots of big heavyweights swinging heavy leather here pretty soon. That'll be exciting to see, and we'll. I know we're certainly on opposite sides of the fence on that Stipe and Ngannou fight, so will be some interesting discussion when that one comes around. So, but let's get into the big pay-per-view from this weekend. 2 massive events. I know the last couple months, the 155 division has dominated the conversation, and as you guys know, and as Russ has clearly advertised on the television behind him, we've got the 2 big fights coming up this weekend. We've got Conor Dustin 2.
Psyched.
Yeah, Conor Dustin 2 is main eventing, and then could be equally exciting. Michael Chandler's debut against Dan Hooker with some big top 5 implications in that fight as well. So should be a real exciting, especially if Chandler wins. Should be real exciting. So, but we'll talk about that main event first. I'm going to turn it over to Russ first. I know he really wants to talk about this fight. So, give us the breakdown, give us some thoughts, some pros and cons about this main event and what you expect to see.
I'm super excited for this fight, as every fight fan is pretty much. I mean, when Conor fights, the fight game is just that much more exciting. He brings the excitement to it. I think it's a much closer matchup than last time. Last time they fought in 2014, it was at featherweight, and Dustin has been much better at lightweight. His chin's better. His knockout power is a little bit better. He's just been awesome. He's fought and beat great dudes. He beat Gaethje, beat Pettis, beat Alvarez. He's been awesome. So it's a closer fight this time. They've both been like fairly inactive. Both fought one time in 2020. So that they got that even with them. And then also, they're one fight out from getting mauled by Habib. There's a lot of things in common with them, but I think Conor just, his precision and his power might be a little bit too much for Dustin again. I think he's going to get the job done. Also just his self-belief in himself is such a huge advantage, and add to that he's already knows he's knocked him out in the first round. I think everything just leans Conor here, but that being said, like if it enters the second round, every minute that goes past, I will be sweating more and more because Conor has had conditioning issues in the past, and Dustin, has shown tremendous heart, coming on in later rounds against dudes that he was down against. So if it starts to wear on into the fight, there will be a serious stress on my end, seeing as I'm betting on Conor to win.
Yeah, you made some good points for us. 2 of the best in the game right now at any weight class. That fight in 2014, I think it's going to be way different than that fight. Yeah, like you said, Dustin has improved tremendously. Conor has as well, but I'd say Dustin more. But here's the thing. You say they've both only fought once in 2020, but Conor hasn't fought, this is going to be Conor's 4th fight since 2016. It's going to be Poirier's 10th fight since 2016. So Poirier's been more active, and also Conor hasn't won at lightweight since 2016. He's 1-1 at lightweight. We can't look past that. I think you're right when you say the later it goes, the more it favors Poirier, because Connor's got a dangerous first 2 rounds in him. He's dangerous throughout, but those first 2 rounds you got to watch out for. His power is crazy. It's like right below like Ngannou scary. The first 2 minutes, he finishes everyone usually in the first round when he wins. But here's how I see it going. This is my prediction. I'm going to say Connor's going to clip him within rounds 1 or 2. Poirier is going to recover, because Connor's big thing is like people don't expect his power. Like that's his big thing, and the mental game. He hasn't really gotten Poirier's head this time, and Poirier hasn't let him get in his head because Connor hasn't said anything, unless he says something Thursday at the press conference. But I think Poirier is going to be more ready this time. He knows Connor's power, and that's a big thing. And plus, Connor will not have the fans. Connor feeds off those fans. That's another thing. A lot of things favor Poirier in this fight, and I think it's going to go different. I think Poirier is going to come on strong in the later rounds 3 through 5, and I think he steals the decision. And I think it's going to be a real close fight, but I think I'm going to take Poirier by decision. What do you think, Phil?
A lot of interesting stuff. I think, you guys touched on a lot of stuff, and it's, to oversimplify. Yeah. Connor has a very big advantage early. And as the fight goes on, just like always, Dustin will grind it out. One of the things, and I could be reaching here. Dustin almost seems like he's just happy to be there. Like when I watch his interviews and things like that, he seems almost like the winning the fight is secondary, which I'm not a fan of. I was leaning heavily towards Dustin, but I think that Dustin really is going to have like an impeccable game plan if he's going to win this fight. And Dustin's been known to go out and just trade with guys, to give, and this is a fight he doesn't want to do that. Like he's going to have to go in, he's going to have to fight really smart, and he's going to have to avoid turning it into a firefight those first, 7-8 minutes of the fight, if he's going to get into that later part of the fight to win this fight. So it's going to be really tough for him to get past that. So we'll see how it plays out, but yeah, I tend to agree. It'll be very, very nervous on the edge of your seat the first few minutes. And then with every passing minute, you'll start to see Dustin pick up steam, I think. And, I don't know that it goes to a decision. I think with Dustin's pressure, if it gets that late, he'll probably end up taking him down and wearing him out and stopping him in the 4th or 5th round. If he can get past that, though, the odds certainly say he won't. And I hope I'm wrong about my observation about Dustin and his focus on winning this fight. So,
yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, Phil, because I was going to say that actually Dustin needs a really impeccable game plan.
Steal my stuff.
I swear to God. But I watched that Hooker fight recently, him and Hooker, and he took a lot of shots in that fight. And Dustin just takes a lot of shots in quite a few fights. His defense is going to have to be a lot better in this fight. That's just a fact. He's going to have to fight a lot smarter.
Yeah. If he fights it like he fought Dan Hooker, if he fights it like he fights Alvarez, like it's not going to go well for him. Like it's not, like I don't like to say good things about Conor, but there's no one at that weight class that wants to just trade punches with him in the first round, because you won't get out of the first round to implement your game plan.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of a tough fight to call because, Poirier, we've seen take tons of shots and we don't really see him get finished very much. But at the same time, Conor doesn't need many shots. Like it's like right. He's so precise and so powerful, and a lot of times just disrespectful of opponents, just like walks right at them. You know what I mean? Like Cerrone, he didn't respect for a second. He walked right at him, like kind of like winged a couple punches before he ended up finishing it. Like if he has no respect for Dustin like that, he might just push him against the cage and KO him quick. Like I'm interested to see how he treats him.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting.
Alvarez fight didn't respect him at all.
Oh my God. Yeah. He knew within like 20 seconds that like it was not even going to be a close fight, and he just picked him apart.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like I wouldn't be surprised to see, and you don't see it often, but if I'm Dustin's team, I'm probably looking for like an early takedown and to really try to tie Conor up that first round or two, tire him out a little bit, and just make him work.
I agree with you. That would be like a winning strategy, but
yeah, I know we
know that is not happening.
No,
it's not in Dustin to like go for a winning strategy as opposed to an entertainment.
Oh, exactly. Has he ever
Entertaining
like
fight.
fought like went for like a takedown ever? Like I don't even know if
No.
that's a thing he's ever done. He's got
No.
some submissions in his record, I think.
He does. He
Yeah.
does.
So I think,
That is a possibility.
if he fights smart, that would be, because I think, he certainly has the advantage in that area. So, I think that's something. And I know, again, guys don't want to do that, but when you get this high profile of a fight, and it's, even if he just does it for the first 2 rounds, is really tries to tie him up. And then, once Connor's breathing a little heavy, and you guys have seen in the past, like he doesn't have the same snap on his punches in round 3 and round 4, then Dustin can open it up a little bit if he chooses. So Dustin, if you're watching, that's what you need to do, brother.
Don't even put that out into the world. I don't even like thinking that like he would take him down and hold him down. That would be the most frustrating thing to me.
Oh, he's not going to hold him down. He's going to work on the ground. He's going to put some elbows on him, put some damage on him, tire him out a little bit.
How beautiful it would be.
That's what we want to see. Like, yeah, I don't want to see this as be a boxing match. Like, I wouldn't feel good about how that's going to go.
It's probably going to be.
I'm aware of that.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm very aware that might be how it goes. That doesn't mean I have to like it.
Yeah.
So, but cool. Well, let's touch on the co-main. Chandler's UFC debut, gonna be in there against Dan Hooker, a triple tough individual himself and a hilarious dude on top of that. So, go ahead and throw it over to you guys. Ben, I'll let you start off. How do you see this fight going, and what do you want to see out of this one?
I think, in my opinion, Hooker gets it done. He's got a reach and height advantage on Chandler. I think he's fought actually better competition, regardless of what some would say. Chandler has more experience, but I think Hooker has fought better competition. He's been in the UFC since 2014. I don't know if you guys knew that, but yeah, I see Hooker. I see Hooker dancing around him, kind of point fighting him, not letting Chandler get his shots off because Chandler's got some power. He's known to be pretty aggressive. So I see Hooker fighting that style and getting it done against Chandler. What do you think, Russ?
Yeah, I think you nailed it with a lot of your points. Like he's got a height and reach advantage. He's gonna have a pretty big size advantage. Hooker is a large dude. Like I just rewatched his fight against Gilbert Burns, where he KOs Gilbert Burns, who's fighting Usman for the 170 title soon, and he looked bigger than Burns in that fight, like pretty decently bigger.
It's crazy.
So, and also you said Hooker's got the more impressive resume. And I think it's like by a long shot. Like if you look at Chandler's resume, the wins he has, not too impressive. Like he beat Benson, but he got KO'd by Patricio Pitbull. And, that's a dude smaller than him. So what's he going to do against Hooker? I think I've got a pretty solid read on this, and I think Hooker's going to beat him kind of one-sided. I know it's a long-awaited debut for Chandler, but I think this is a really tough matchup for him.
Yeah, it seems
it's interesting where what's going to happen, because we've been talking about Chandler fighting elite guys for so long. I think we're going to see, and I think he's got a lot to prove. So I think we're hopefully we see the best of Michael Chandler in this fight. And we'll see if he belongs at the top of this division, like people have said for so long.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Hooker's fighting dudes like Felder and Iaquinta and Poirier and Gilbert Burns. And then, Chandler's record, like he's got wins over Brent Primus and Gertz and Sidney Outlaw. Like
he does have a win over Eddie, though. That might be his best win.
Yeah. He does have the win over Eddie, but I believe he has a loss against Eddie too, doesn't he?
He does.
Yeah. So it's not near the competition, and he's been KO'd a couple times. So that chin is not uncrackable. I think we could see Hooker nail him with either that or a submission. Hooker's just really good. I really think a lot of him.
He's kind of like the dark horse that doesn't get the credit in the division, even though he's up there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think just what we hit on, the resume is much different, and the height and reach, and he's 4 years younger. Just a lot of things are in his favor. If Chandler goes out there and kills him, it makes the division pretty exciting because you got a new contender. But I don't see it happening. What do you think, Phil?
Yeah, I hope Chandler fights the way that he does, because one of the things that I like about Chandler is he's very aggressive, and it has cost him a couple times in his career. But I think if Chandler fights between his wrestling and his aggression, I think he can alleviate that reach advantage pretty easily. Because Chandler gets inside on guys because he just has he's a short, stocky dude. His wrestling is good. I think Chandler's got a lot to prove in this fight, and I love Dan Hooker, so I don't like to pick against him, but I think Chandler's going to go out and prove that he belongs. So I think Chandler's going to get he's going to get the W, but it's not going to be easy.
Yeah, it seems as though they're almost punishing him for not taking that. I think it was the Tony fight on short notice, because he claimed to be ready for anything. He's ready for anything, and then they offer him that, and he didn't take it. So you're getting Hooker now.
Right. It's just a hype debut. You got to give him like one of the top dudes after you brought him to that Khabib card and had him weigh in and stuff and introduced him. They were like, Michael Chandler has arrived in the UFC. Like you can't like do all that and then throw him in there against, somebody outside of the top 10. So,
but the thing is Hooker is one of the top dudes, but like, he's not like a name, you know what I mean?
He's kind of like an under the radar name. Like,
being viewed, like I said, from a casual like perspective, he's not a guy you think of being at like the top of that division, but like he very easily could be fighting in the main event, because that fight with Dustin was razor close, and you could have absolutely given that fight to Dan Hooker, and it would certainly not have been a robbery. And it'd be a very different perspective if we could be talking about Connor Hooker, and we could be talking about Poirier fighting Michael Chandler. So, he certainly belongs in that top 5, but it maybe not the outside name appeal, but it's certainly a tough fight. But, that's why Chandler came here to fight, like you said, not knocking out Sydney Outlaw on some Bellator card in Japan. So, certainly excited to see how he does. I'm excited to see, and I've always wanted to see him and Pitbull fight these top guys in the UFC, and that division is so exciting. So either guy who wins, puts themselves in line for, there's just so many possibilities in that weight class. We can and have spent entire shows talking about it. So we'll have to see how it breaks down. But speaking of that, it's a perfect time to transition into the best bets of the week. So Russ, why don't you recap how you did on the last one, and then tell the people how they can make some money this week. And then we've got a special best bet at the end for the fans. People are going to like this. So.
Big bet. Okay. So let's go into the best bets this week. Last Saturday, I was 1-3 on the bets, and on Buckley and Ponzinibbio, I was 100% wrong. Like I had them both winning by KO, and they got KO'd violently.
I think most people were wrong fairly, though, in your favor. I think most people were wrong on that.
Yeah, I think so too. But I should have just taken the chance, I guess, and taken some dogs. Like I wish I would have, man. Those dudes were big dogs, and they were so impressive, those knockouts. Yep. And then Matt Brown was a loser, and then one on Max. So, and then for Wednesday we got Chiesa pending. So still could end up 2-3 and decent, I guess. But we're gonna right the ship here for 2021 on this UFC pay-per-view coming up here. Mm-hmm. So on the 257, UFC 257, I'm taking Amanda Ribas by decision. That's -120. She's very good. She's 10-1. She's going against Marina Rodriguez, who is 12-1, and 9 of her last 10 fights have ended in decision. So I think like she must be very tough to finish, even though I'm not super familiar with her fights. And I know Ribas is good. So I like that -120 by decision. I'm taking Conor McGregor -175 by KO or TKO. I think he wins it by KO or TKO. I mean, if you're taking Conor, why would you go -300 if you're taking Conor? Like -175 sounds better, KO or TKO. Mm-hmm. I think he stops it fairly early. He's just too precise. And then my biggest bet probably of the first like 3 or 4 months of this year will be Dan Hooker -120 to beat Chandler. I think that's an easy win for him. I don't want to disrespect Chandler, but I just think Hooker has every advantage. And I think that line should be more like Hooker -200. Mm-hmm. -120 sounds great to me. We'll see if it moves at all. But also I wanted to mention, I'm using bestfightodds.com now for like odds, because you can look up like 2 or 3 months in advance fights, and it will give you the odds. And you can like look up like all the different props for different ones and stuff. Like they have odds up for Ngannou Stipe. They have like potential fight odds on there as well. Like Ngannou Jones, like they have a lineup, like if that fight were to happen.
Wow.
And, stuff like that. So it's a pretty cool site, but that's the one I'm using now because before I couldn't like look up the props until like the day of the fight. And since we record this a week in advance, that site has been good.
Cool. All right.
But yeah, so that's the 3, but the Hooker, I'm going like, I mean, I don't want to say like bet your house on it, but bet your house on Hooker.
How much, honestly, what window would you put it in? How much are you going to bet?
500
Jesus.
To under a grand, 500, 800 is going to be placed on Hooker.
Okay.
I would also like to point out to the fans out there that like Russ is in no way, shape, or form like a millionaire. Like, it's not like this is chump change. He's just very confident in some of his bets, and a large portion of his income fluctuates based off of winning bets. So
it does. But we go up and down. Some weeks we eat, and some weeks we we drink a lot of water.
Yep.
Next week that TV is gonna be gone behind you. What happened to the TV?
Yep.
It'll just be like a cardboard cut out of it with some stick figures drawn on there for the next phase. Like,
meet me at the pawn shop if Hooker loses.
Yeah.
And also, he's going to need to, because we're going to make some football bets, which will, and he's going to lose big on those. So
I was 4-0 this weekend. Beautiful weekend. I almost had a aneurysm when Mahomes left the game and the Browns looked like they were going to come back and win that game. That was rough times.
If that would have happened, we wouldn't discuss football for at least another 6 months in any way, shape, or form. The Super Bowl would be canceled and there would just be no football discussion in my presence. I would have had an absolute meltdown.
I bet the Chiefs in game money line. So like I was standing to lose a significant amount if that didn't go well.
Mm-hmm.
Thank
Chad
goodness.
Henne, baby. And the best coaching calls of all time by Andy Reid.
My God, the balls.
I know that dude. To get him in the cage, I'll put money on Reid.
Yeah. I mean, he's got the balls. He'd suit up for sure.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So,
awesome.
But we're getting off topic here. So while we're talking about bets, we wanted to do something to make it exciting, because as you guys can probably imagine, we make a lot of bets between each other. And we try to make them a little bit exciting because, just betting money here and there, gets stale after a while. So we want to do something that would be entertaining for you guys and entertaining for us as well. So we came up with kind of a crazy bet. We're going to see how it goes. So we're going to take some pretty serious stakes on the McGregor Poirier fight. And we're going to pick right now on camera, and anyone who picks wrong, the losers have to do 2 things. Number 1, we are going to drink half a bottle of Dustin Poirier's hot sauce, which Russ has right there. And then in whatever physical condition we are in after that, we are going to step out into the cold because we are in Michigan, and we are going to run a mile in nothing but gym shorts. No shirt, no shoes, getting out there, sick through our stomachs on hot sauce. And we're going to suffer through this while the other person sits there in their jacket and their hat, probably in their car with the heat on, and laughs at us for picking wrong. So
no shoes. I didn't know about this.
Gotta be no shoes. Like,
I'm out.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, I didn't know about that either.
That's
you just
crazy.
dropped that on us.
That there's like salt and stuff and glass and stuff.
Well, you guys got to be a little tough. If you guys want to wear your shoes, you can, but I'm going to go no shoes because
we'll do no shoes. We'll do no shoes.
I was going to say, if you want to back out now, then that's fine. How you guys want to do it. So,
man, I'm way more stressed now.
Yeah, running no shoes doesn't seem like fun.
Oh, I run with no shoes fairly often. Not when it's this cold, but during, that's how everyone who runs marathons, those dudes from Kenya never wear shoes.
Do you wear socks?
No.
Very, very poor planning.
No,
it's strange. Yeah.
No, it's exciting. I mean, I wear shoes sometimes, but I enjoy running with no shoes. You guys, you're not going to run you're not setting world records in marathons running with your shoes on.
Yeah, it's true. Well,
I guess we'll go to Russ for his pick first. I don't think he's going to shock the world with his pick. I think we know where he's going. So
we are going with Conor McGregor, baby. Make us proud on Saturday. I don't want to be running freaking in the cold after chugging hot sauce.
Oh, man.
And Huh?
The part about that, sorry, Ben, I didn't mean to cut you off.
It's all
The
good.
part about that is Russ does not handle the cold very well. So, he's, he is taking the favorite, but it kind of balances out like the prop bet, because I think me and Ben will do much better in the cold than Russ. Like Russ might actually like die. Like, I don't know if he can take it. So.
And here's
there will be an ambulance at the 1 mile finish line, like ready to pick me up. Like there's no doubt.
Come on.
Like,
It's like 6 to 8 minutes. Won't be too bad. The worst part to me is the freaking hot sauce, man. That mile run in the cold is nothing to me, but I will be taking Poirier. That's my guy. One of my favorite fighters of all time. Poirier is going to get it done, baby.
Good stuff. So I'm going to make the cardinal mistake that gamblers make all the time, which I make time and time again. And it's even worse because I'm aware that I make this mistake and I do it anyway. Like my brain tells me to take Connor because I don't want to shit myself when I drink a half a bottle of hot sauce and run. But that dude is such an unlikable human to me. I bet against him every single time he fights, and that is not going to change. I'm taking Poirier to get it done. Get it done, Dustin. If not, this is on your hands, buddy, and you're going to hear about it. So,
yeah.
And this will all be filmed for a future episode.
Yeah, you guys will get to see the aftermath of this. Not sure exactly how we're going to execute it, but in case I didn't mention, we are from Michigan. We are close to the Canadian border. It's not going to be real warm. It's not Florida winters up here. So
no, right now. Let's see the temperature. It's
today is unseasonably warm. It's 31 right now.
Well, yeah, 30. And then the next like 7 days are like 27, 30, 27, 28, 34.
So like the weather is on our side. It doesn't look like there's anything too brutal coming up. So
yeah,
depending on the result of the fight, we'll look for a blizzard.
Like there is one day
that payoff happens.
Yeah.
It'll depend. If Russ wins, he's going to find the worst day. And if, if he loses, I could see where like me and Ben show up at the park and then Russ like Skypes in. He's going to drive a few hours south and he'll be outdoors.
If I lose, you guys aren't going to see me till June.
Yeah. He ain't doing this till summer. Hell no.
He's going to duck
No, but this isn't necessarily going to be on the next week's episode, is it? Or what?
It's going to be fairly soon. We want to do it while it's wintertime because that's the whole appeal of it.
It's going to be on an upcoming episode soon.
Yeah, we are men of honor, and you pay your debts no matter how severe they are. And we will do the deed, and we will get out there and we will get it done, and hopefully it'll be slightly entertaining for you guys. So we'll see how that goes, but that's going to be a lot on the line for this fight. We will be anxiously watching the fights on Saturday to see how it goes. So
I'm nervous.
I don't know how you top that. I think we can probably wrap it up from here. Hopefully a lot of you guys are going to watch the event this weekend. We'll have a cool recap next week, and maybe some cool video footage. Everybody, any last words from you two before we close it up for the day?
No, I'm very excited for the fights. They're going to be awesome. So
yeah, super pumped for that main event. Notorious versus the Diamond. You can't beat it. That's going to be amazing.
And you guys won't see me if Connor wins. So, I'm out the country.
Prepare yourself.
Yeah.
Well, Ben, spoiler alert, Ben edits the show. So we could very well see like one of those things where like, and we will replay the footage and Ben will be like, oh, so I think I'm taking Connor.
Yeah. Right.
And he'll be like, no, I said Connor all along. So I'll be the only, Ben's not doing it either way. He's got control of the video. So
right.
We'll see how it goes. But again, thank you, gentlemen. I'm excited to get in on this bet. I'm excited for some fun fights, and hope you guys enjoy it. We'll see you next time. Enjoy. We'll talk to you later.
See you next week.